to you, Beto. I mean, I always like to allow an introduction. So go ahead and introduce yourself. Where were you raised? What are you currently doing in your 9 to 5? And then we'll get into the nitty gritty.
All right. I'm Beto Sepulveda. I am 39 years old. Grew up in El Monte, California. Um, Made a move out to Montclair a few years later. Kind of grew up in the Inland Empire. After that, high school, Damien High School, a little bit of Citrus College, a little bit of Cal Poly. Um, Started working at UPS in 2002, and 20 years later, I'm still there now, overseeing about 500 people on the operation that services the entire West Coast of the United States overnight. Um, so, yeah, that takes up a lot of my time, and then I'm married, 3 kids, 2 older boys that also work at UPS. So 3/4 of the income in our household comes from UPS. I got a 5-year-old little girl. My wife Tony and I will be married for 10 years this year, actually September 1st.
Oh, congrats.
So yeah, we live in Riverside now, and just and enjoying life, man.
It's funny that you mentioned all that. I didn't know you were in Montclair for a bit. That's actually where I grew up. And it's funny to me because life has a funny way of working, coming full circle. Uh, Beto and I met at UPS, but the chaoticness of it didn't really allow me to ask the questions that asking right now. So, I'm very honored to be able to do that at the moment. Um, One of the things that sparked the conversation between Beto and I, and this is something I've really looked up to him for, is his presence in social media. But before I get into those questions, I know Beto's been in a journey of a mindset shift, which is the reason why I have these conversations. Ultimately, it's my goal to get these messages across. But you have a really good job. A lot of people would say, Beto. So where did your mindset start to kind of drift away from, working till retirement to now? I've been watching your journey for a while now, and you decided to kind of venture into something else, right? And you could talk a little bit on that, but explain why that mind shifted.
Uh, Things have gotten very different in the last 8 months now. I think it was September of last year, when I kind of started, and I was just in a bad mental place. Um,
Mm,
you know, the stresses of working for a large corporation and being responsible for hundreds of people is tough sometimes. Um, Working 60 plus hours a week, and trying to be a husband and a father and a good leader when you're at work, it was tough. And the way that I started my journey was actually on Instagram. You get those random reels that come through, and someone was selling a course, and I clicked on it and listened to it, and it sounded good to me, right? It sounded like I want to do something different. And it's funny that you mentioned that I have a good job. I do. I have a fantastic job, that's provided for my family really well for the last 20 years, and it took me 20 years to get to the position that I'm at now. But I think I was just in one of those funks, where I felt like I was giving too much, and not being able to spend time with my family doing the things that I wanted to do, which when I go back and look at it, it's not really true. 20 years at UPS, I have 5 weeks of vacation, and every time we go out, just recently, some of my posts on TikTok and Instagram were, and sharing the places that we get to go camping, right? That's what my
mm,
family and I do. Um, so the journey kind of started to learn something new, right? And to try to replace uh, my job, which after 20 years of building is really not an easy thing to do. But I think I was in that mindset of if I put as much effort in as I do at UPS, I can end up building this fantastic life. And that's not the case. But I think that reel that came up for a reason because it maybe it wasn't there to replace what I do for a living. I think it was there to open my eyes. And the biggest thing that I've learned in the last 8 months is really gratitude. I'm thankful for what I have and what I get to do every day, and the things that have changed that I do now, right?
Hmm.
And really connections like this. You and I mean, when's the last time you and I talked before you reached out to me? It had to have been what,
It
10
was,
years ago?
yeah, it was yeah, it was a few years. I don't remember exactly the date, but yeah, it was probably 2015, maybe 7 years. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was a while ago.
It's a long time, and I'm a true believer that everything that happened,
Hmm.
from watching that reel to signing up for a course to learning a new job model, to starting to post on TikTok and Instagram, um, and having you reach out was all meant to be. It
Hmm.
was all that this connection was meant to happen again, because the industry that you're in now is some of what I was learning, and I know we've had conversations before. It's stuff that we don't learn growing
Hmm.
up. You know, um,
Yeah,
it was just all meant to be.
yeah. I think this is a perfect segue because another part of why I do these conversations is to allow people to root for themselves. And I know you have to see my conversation with my friend from Mexico, Daniel, who said "créetela," and
I love that I love that saying.
yeah, and it's true though because you watching a reel should give people motivation to, when times get tough, because it's not easy. And there was a TikTok you made where it's like, thank you to my 3 followers. And I thought that was hilarious because I can relate.
Yeah.
Sometimes we post this content and you're like, oh, is it even worth it? And you're a testament to that because somebody posted a reel that you watched where now you became a client of theirs, but it allowed you to expand your mind. And that's the beauty of it. That's what I love about social media. It gives us the ability to have these conversations where, who knows, maybe somebody's struggling with posting content, they watch our conversation, and it gives them the motivation to keep going. So going back to social media, one of the things, or one of the biggest reasons I reached out to you is because I was going to start my own like little social media reels, videos, whatever you want to call them. And I did have a few questions for you, and one of the things I took away from you was just continue to post, just do it. So I remember I have notes of our conversation, and one of the things I really enjoy are your videos and your TikToks and your Instagram videos. Um, Talk a little bit about that. Like I know you have messages behind them. So why'd you start, and how is that journey going for you?
So I started completely wrong, right? The the program that I purchased, or that I went through, um, it's an affiliate marketing program, and they teach you the basics, but they push you to post on TikTok, post on Instagram, you know, make a Facebook group. Like, they push you towards social media in order to advertise, right? And bring organic traffic in. The thing that I did wrong, though, is that I started right away trying to sell, right? I was trying to
Mm,
sell the same program that I went through to try to learn. And I think the biggest thing about my social media that's evolved in the last 8 months, and actually, I think it probably took like 5 or 6 before I realized that I wanted to go a different route with it, was I wasn't there to sell people. Um,
mm,
and maybe I should be, maybe I still should be, but I didn't take the time to build that connection at first. I think I tried to do stuff that's funny because I enjoy doing that. I try to do stuff that's motivational because I'll be honest with you, 99% of the time, the stuff that I post to try to motivate is to motivate me.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times the message that I put out is the message that I'm telling myself in order to push forward with my day to days and trying to do stuff extra beyond just working. So I really just post now. I try to motivate myself and others. I try to share one thing that's really come from all of this and spending more time on social media is I've become uh, a reader. So I share. A lot of my posts are quotes out of the books that I'm reading or information that came out of a book that I read. I like to share what I'm reading at the time. Um, it's social media has now become much more about sharing a message and than anything else.
Yeah.
Um, it's different and sometimes yeah you say the 3 followers and I feel like that sometimes and I posted one and I always go back to it and actually want to post it again about when you get more views or likes than just your mom and your wife right you feel like a star so
Yeah.
um but sometimes man like I'll post something and I'm like I needed that so it was worth it
Yeah.
and then you get that one comment of hey, thank you, I needed that today.
Mm-hmm.
And that, I mean, that makes it worth it. That
Mm-hmm.
to me makes it worth it. If I have helped somebody get through their day to day, right, or see the light over the horizon, like it's worth it.
Mm-hmm.
It's and part of what I tell myself every day, I get to do that every day, right? So 5 days a week, 60 hours a week, whatever. Uh, I get to have meaningful conversations with people.
Mm-hmm.
There's a group of folks that I get to talk to on a regular basis, and I feel like the social media aspect of it is just an extension of that now, where I can
Mm-hmm.
touch more people that don't necessarily know me. We get to have that. We get to have that interaction. So I think it's really great.
Yeah. No, I love that whole aspect of and thank you for your vulnerability because yeah, it's true. Sometimes we struggle with positive self-talk and what easier way to do it than posting something that's not only going to help others, but it's going to be a reminder for us. So thank you for that. And it's funny, my wife is on the call right now and she put that laughing emoji because, yeah, we could relate. I remember the first TikTok that I put, she was helping me edit it and we were up till like midnight. We usually go to bed like at 10, 11, and we were just trying to figure it out. Like we're nitpicking little things and it's just like, you know what, let's just post it.
Yeah.
So it's funny, and it's awesome that to be able to have support from our loved ones because it does go a long way. And I can relate to you when it comes to there's times where I get little attention, or at least I think I do, compared to other people's standards. But then I'll meet somebody in person and they thank me for posting an interview that I had with somebody because it motivated them to do something. And to me, that is what makes the difference on why I continue to do these conversations. And for those of you who aren't following Beto, definitely you guys need to go check him out because I love his content. It's hilarious, but it's extremely motivational as well. Um, Before I get sidetracked, Beto, for those that don't know what affiliate marketing is, can you explain it to us? And what are some things that you love about it besides just being able to work from home or work from anywhere, I should say?
So affiliate marketing, the basic job model is there's companies out there that pay a significant amount for marketing in order to put their products out there. So what an affiliate marketer does is create content, be that through social media, be that through blogs, um, however that might be, and then becomes kind of the middleman between the company and the customer, right? So you read a blog about I don't know the best gaming computers under $2,000, and then the blog that you go and you read that names out who's there, typically there's going to be a link there to go purchase that computer, and that person now got paid from that company for bringing you their, or for bringing them your purchase, right, or your business. So it's a way that people make money by helping other companies market without them having to pay up front. They basically pay when the sale gets made.
Very cool. And so this is different from corporation advertising through Instagram, through Facebook ads, through Google ads, because somebody's actually doing the work to be able to push the product. But I feel like it's feeding more than one mouth. So that essentially that's what it is.
Yeah, and the biggest thing is, and as I started my journey, I started to realize that people that I watch on YouTube or people that I follow on Instagram and TikTok, when they advertise a product, that's them affiliating for that company, right? And that's them going out and doing that. And sometimes it's subtle, and you don't really know that they're advertising for you. They're just sharing something that they use. And other times it's a straight advertisement. But I think that's part of why stuff like that works, and why a lot of you see a lot of couples out there now on YouTube, on TikTok, on Instagram, that post on a regular basis and share the things that they might use them regularly, they might not, but from what I've seen and what I've going through the process is you make a better sale, or you make a better sales pitch when it's truly something that you believe in. And that's a lot of what I've read and looked at, and as I've researched, that I don't want to be an affiliate for something that I can't back, right? Because realistically, I'm the one making that connection with the customer, and then moving them to the company that's selling whatever the product might be. So really, if I don't believe in it, why would someone else want to purchase what I'm selling?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that's true. It goes back to a saying that I hear a lot. People don't care how much you know; they just care to know that you care.
Yeah.
So I do have another question, and for those of you in the chat, feel free to drop questions, and I'll make sure to ask Beto. This isn't a question so much more than an acknowledgement. I know you just went through the 75 hard, and congratulations on completing it. And I was following your journey, and again, you're a very honest person and vulnerable, where you share that experience. It's not easy, and there was times where you had to start over. Going back 8 months ago, before you started this mindset shift, would you say old Beto would have the courage to do a challenge like that? And then speak about how you feel after the challenge also.
So I think the old me was in a place that I needed that, right? And I've always been someone that's pretty good at holding myself accountable.
Okay.
But I'm also someone that's very goal oriented, right? So if I don't set goals for myself on a regular basis, I'll become complacent and I won't do anything. And I think that's where I was 8 months ago. And I think getting into the affiliate marketing and trying to post on TikTok, all this stuff, and trying to make sales, and took me down a road of social media that I didn't know existed, right? And you see all these entrepreneurs and you see those people, and I didn't even know who Andy Frisella was, right? I saw a bunch of videos, and I like that he's real and he tells people exactly how it is, whether they like it or not. And that's the kind of person that I consider myself to be. I might hurt your feelings, but I would rather hurt your feelings and help you along than not tell you the truth and lie to you, right? I've been called a lot of things. A liar's never been one of them, and I don't expect that to ever be one of them. But I started hearing more and more about 75 Hard, and initially, and I think I posted this on my social media, I thought it was a weight loss thing, and I've gone through some issues, some health issues, and I made some changes a couple years ago to better myself, and I started to slack a little bit. So besides being, stressed out and feeling like I worked too many hours and didn't have hours in the day to do this and that, I would tell myself, oh, I'm going to work out. Hey, I keep buying books, but they're just sitting on the shelf. I'm going to read them. And 75 Hard really brought all that and said, well, stop talking about it and do it,
Mm-hmm.
right? Just do it. These are the rules. You have to do two 45-minute workouts every day. You can't do them together. You can't do them together. They got to be separate. One of them has to be outside. You got to drink a gallon of water every day. You got to read 10 pages of a book. You have to take a progress picture. Um, right. And then you have to follow a diet. Doesn't matter what diet is, follow a diet. So the rules seemed pretty simple, but it was hard, man. That like trying to figure out sometimes, I typically leave for work at 6 o'clock in the evening. I usually leave work like this morning. I didn't leave there till 6:30 this morning.
Mm-hmm.
So trying to find an hour and a half to work out and read a book, try to keep on a diet. The water part, which I thought was going to be hard, wasn't. But really, what it takes is discipline, and I
Mm-hmm.
think that's the biggest takeaway from completing 75 Hard was be disciplined. If you're going to do something, if you say you're going to do something, you have to do it. And
Mm-hmm.
there's nobody to see if you finished your gallon of water for the day, or to see if you didn't do 43 minutes instead of 45. There's nobody there to hold you accountable but yourself. And I think that's the biggest thing, and that's the thing that some of us need on a day to day is to hold ourselves accountable. If you say you're going to do something, if you tell your boss, "Hey, I'm going to do this," you do it, right?
You can do it.
Because
Mm-hmm.
otherwise, it becomes, well, you're not doing your job. So why, if we
Mm-hmm.
tell ourselves that, "Hey, I'm going to read this book this month," why don't we do it?
Mm-hmm.
We don't hold ourselves accountable. And really, completing 75 Hard just did that for me. It created habits, uh, good habits that I completed 75 Hard on May 16th. And to this day, I'm still reading regularly. I'm still working out regularly. I still eat well. I haven't gone back to eating horribly. Well, the other thing was no alcohol for 75 days, which was I think really a huge blessing in disguise for me. Um, but I've kept those habits. In 75 days, I established good habits, and a good way of holding myself accountable and making sure that I check those boxes every day. And since it's been over, I've continued to do that, and I think that made me stronger. So completing 75 Hard was a huge accomplishment for me. It was really difficult. Um, but once I started setting habits, it became easier.
Yeah. And again, thank you for your vulnerability, Beto. Um, it's hard to be speaking about this with an audience. But like I said, you posted your journey on your reels and TikTok. So again, guys, if you haven't followed or follow Beto, his link's up top. We do have a question from my friend Kimberly, who's a therapist. So I'm sure she she agrees when I say thank you for the vulnerability. So she's asking, now that you've experienced this mindset shift, has there also been a shift with your social circle?
Um, I feel like I've always kept good people around me.
Mm-hmm.
I've always been one that this I don't get involved in the gossip. I don't get involved in the drama. I don't have time for it. I
Mm-hmm.
so my circle hasn't really changed. My circle's pretty consistent. I have a solid core group of people that that I keep around me, that I consider, besides my family, that I consider family. Um, but I think I've got a lot of like motivated people and similar personalities. I think in certain ways where we're driven and we want more and we like the better things in life.
Mm-hmm.
So my circle hasn't really changed, but I feel that it's made me um, a better person in the circle. I guess if that makes sense. Um, where I don't maybe at this point in my life or at this point in my journey, I don't need as much. I can contribute more.
Mm-hmm. Okay. No, that's a great response. Thank you, Beto. And I know for that question, a lot of people do need that shift to get out of certain situations, but it looks like the group of people you're around, they're already driven, motivated, and motivate you, support you. But now you're in a position where you could give back. So that's great, and that's what a leader is. And knowing Beto as a supervisor when I worked at UPS, and seeing how far he's come from that position to where he's at now is awesome. And then seeing his journey, as I mentioned beforehand, with this side hustle, I know it's for a greater purpose. And I'll allow you to share on your why, because I love to hear people's whys. I know you posted about it, but I do want to get it on our clip for today, and then we'll end it at that, Beto.
Yeah, I mean, my wow, Alvin, is that little girl that I get to see every morning. Um, yeah, I mean, you said something to me when we first started talking about, um, finances, that retirement isn't an age, it's a number. And I think starting on this path, I've seen that more. So, finding a way, whether it's affiliate marketing or whatever else it might be, I know that I've worked really hard to get to where I am, and I have to build on what I have. Working for UPS isn't going to be the only way to get me there. It will at some point, but I want to fast forward that. I want to enjoy the best years of that little girl's life. Um, so whatever I need to do to get there, I enjoy spending time with my family. I enjoy camping and spending time by the beach. I enjoy spending time with